Hello, YouTube. This is Straight Up Reviews, and I'm your host, Clip. And I have a cold. This is my first video in what I hope to be a budding YouTube channel where I review anything from books to food to movies, music, and beyond. Now let's get this shit going. In our first video, we're going to review the first book in a trilogy that came out last year called Of Blood and Fire by Irish author Ryan Cahill. All three books you can get on Kindle Unlimited right now. Plug. Now, as the name of the channel suggests, I'm going to be straight up and hopefully not waste anyone's time. The rest of the videos to come won't have a long introduction like this one. I'll just get into the nitty-gritty of what I'm reviewing. So, with that being said, this book is Eragon. Nothing against Mr. Cahill, but I seriously wonder if he's ever heard of Christopher Paollini and the inheritance cycle. Now, I read Eragon and the three subsequent books as a teen, and they were pretty great. As an adult, you can tell they were written by a teenager. I'll just do some comparisons here. Eragon. Fantasy realm. Dragons are real. Corrupt dragon rider gets others to follow him, overthrows the empire, hoards all other dragon eggs so no one can hatch them outside of his control. A motley group steals an egg, ends up in the hands of a young boy hunting deer in the woods. Egg hatches for boy named Eragon. Weird guy in his village named Bram helps him through this. We find out that he is an ex-dragon rider who lost his dragon to the new evil emperor. There are creatures called ergons that are kind of like a cross between a goat and a man. Sort of like a minotaur, but not as cool. That are being led by a shade, which is a demon that has possessed a wizard. There are elves and dwarves, and at the end of the first book, they end up in a dwarven realm that is being attacked by ergons. Saphira, his dragon, finds her fire, and Eragon can do magic because of his connection to her. Alright, now, for Of Blood and Fire. Fantasy realm. Dragons are real. Corrupt dragon rider gets others to follow him, overthrows the empire. There's only 3 to 4 dragons. It's kind of unclear in his control. No other dragons exist. A motley group goes to a far-off land. And here's where in the later Paollini books, you're going to get some similarities, but for now I'll just leave them out. Finds an egg, brings it back to the mainland. Young boy, who you meet for the first time hunting deer in the woods with his friends, comes across Uruks, which is the same exact thing as ergons. Then, through irrelevant circumstances, gets the egg to hatch for him. One of the motley group is an ex-dragon rider and helps the boy because they are being chased by a fade, which is a demon possessing a wizard. There are elves, and there are dwarves, and there are giants, which actually is kind of neat. And at the beginning of the second book, they end up in a dwarven realm. Because at the end of the first book, a city that they are in, near the dwarven realm, is being attacked by the Fade and dragons and Valerie's. Kahlin's dragon finds his fire. Oh, and Cahill can do magic because of his connection with his dragon, and he calls it the Spark. I should note here that while Eragon was definitely made for the YA market, it's unclear where Of Blood and Fire falls. But if I had to guess, it fits fairly well into the early 20s demographic. There's some fucks and some shits and what have you in the book, which kind of helps it from a YA title. So now we have the comparisons. It's the same shit, you know? It's just packaged a little differently. Now, I'm not faulting the guy because everyone after Tolkien is just copying him, but at least do a different storyline and plot. It was so frustratingly similar that I had a hard time even finishing it. Even if it was written better than Eragon, it was smaller, and despite being written better, and the storyline being pretty much the same, I just found that it didn't really have much going on. Now, I debated talking about this because I don't want to cause anything with Ryan Cahill, but I got to talk about the elephant in the room. Cahill loves vomit. I don't know what it is, but this dude talks about various characters throwing up in their mouths constantly. It's like the only thing he could think of to describe something that was happening was them throwing up in their mouths all the time, and he always typically describes it in the same way, and it's actually kind of weird. I also get the feeling that while the book itself is really an easy read, whenever he uses a big word, he tends to repeat it for no reason. And I feel like it's because he discovered the word and wants people to know that he knows the word. I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong, but it's weird how he does that, because he'll be talking about vomit, and then all of a sudden he uses a big word like 3 times in a row for no reason. Anyway, all in all, I would say it's a decent book, albeit Eragon. That even though I struggled at times, I mostly enjoyed it. I would give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Once I finish the second book, I will review that one as well. It's a doozy so far. I could go on right now, but I'll just wait. I'm about halfway through. Now, no disrespect to either author. They both can do something that I cannot. So, mad props to them. I'm struggling even reading a script that I wrote for this. So if you want, leave comments down below on what you think if you've read it. Or if you have any other suggestions for things for me to read, watch, eat, or listen to. So yeah, this was a clip with straight up reviews. Okay, bye.